Hey, what's up, everybody? I apologize if I sound sick up front because I just got over a sickness. So if I sound a little nasally, that is why. Today, I basically wanted to just kind of show you guys the process of how I've been doing my outreach and my cold DM outreach. That's the primary way I've been doing outreach. And I wanted to show you how I've been doing it because I always looked at a lot of different videos on YouTube and I tried to find different ways to do it. And I never really found a lot of, I don't know if I would say a lot of amazing information, but I just wanted to show you at least my process, just show you what I've been doing. It's worked pretty great. I've had a lot better success rates. At least I'm basing that off of the numbers I hear from other people talking about the differences between, cold calling, emailing, cold DMing, and how, the different numbers with that. They say, like, if you close 1 out of 100 cold calls, that's a good, something to kind of bank on how the numbers kind of work out. So I've heard those numbers thrown around, but for me, I've had really good rates of, I would say, and I don't have exact numbers for you. I probably should have done that before this video. And maybe in future videos, I'll actually get the actual statistics so I can share those. But I don't know, something like probably 80% are opening and reading on the first time I'm sending them. And then I'm having about 40% reply. About half of those are positive. So, you have people that are saying, no, thanks, not interested, get lost. Sometimes they're mean and they actually say really rude things. That's just part of it. And some people... But some people are actually nice and genuine, even if they're saying no. But like I said, about half the replies that I'm getting are positive or saying, I'm interested. How much is it? And then you kind of have to go into the sales part of the process. But right now, I'm just want to focus on strictly outreach and just showing you guys what I've been doing. I'm not claiming to be a professional or know really what I'm doing because I've started my journey pretty recently, last 5-ish months. But I just wanted to show you what I've been doing, and hopefully this helps one person. If it does, that is, awesome, and it'll be worth it. So, and I hope you guys can take what I'm doing and make it even better. And if you have ideas of how to do it better, if you guys want to share them below, that would be awesome, because I like to learn just as much as everyone else does. So the first thing that I would say that is one of the most important is pick a niche. And I'm sure you guys have heard that 1,000 times. And the reason why I think that's so important is maybe not for all the reasons that other people say, because the offer that I do is I've kind of switched from trying to do the full advertising, and I've been focusing on simply selling like the go high level websites and funnels along with automations, and then charging them hosting as like a monthly part of having the website on my go high level, white labeled software. And so that's kind of where I've pivoted, because I don't know. The marketing I still would probably like to touch maybe in the future, but for me, getting started and like just getting started my journey, I didn't really like the variables that there was, and having a client that it didn't work out for really left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm sure in their mouth, and it was just kind of disappointing. And so I like something that I can control. Website you build, you go back and forth, there's revisions, and then once it's done, that service has been delivered. There's no variables on the market of like, oh, I wonder, how my ads are doing, what they're going to see as successful, what your client will see as success, what your ROI, like there's a lot of different things with the advertising. There's really good profit in it if you do it right, if you do it good. But I also enjoy doing the websites more, and I think that's the more important key. I think most of us, if we enjoyed it, we put our mind to it, and then you make money with it. That's like a win-win-win. But for me, I didn't really enjoy the advertising. I was just doing it because everyone else was doing it. And so I was like, well, if everyone else is making money off it, then why shouldn't I? And I didn't really make any money off it. So anyways, I say all that to say, pick your niche for the reasons of you want to see how that particular business or that business industry or that type is responding to your offer and what you are trying to sell them. For me, there's kind of 2 criteria I would say would be important when you're looking at this. The first would be looking at businesses that have really good profit margins so that they have good money to spend on a website. The nice thing with websites, though, is that pretty much if you don't have a website in 2024, you're really losing business just in general. And that's not a hard thing to sell to even people who have to make an investment. But the reason why I say have higher margins is because people are more likely to actually spend the money. And it's a less of a like, oh, I don't know if I can afford it right now. And that's the only reason I say that. obviously I personally believe everybody needs a website, and I'm sure statistics and studies would agree with that. So finding that niche that's, got a lot of margin on it. And for examples would be like roof contractors, fence contractors, a lot of home services, sidewalk sealers, certain landscaping niches, hardscapers. A lot of those people make really, really good margins. And so they have a lot of money. They make lots of money. And so it's easy for them to make that decision if the offer is right for them. So finding that is important, finding your niche, just because it helps you with your outreach. And what I would recommend is try one niche and do 100 outreaches on them, and then make your decision on if you need to move on or not. For me, I started off with fence contractors, and I immediately started getting really good results. And now I'm doing roof contractors and a couple of other things, because with websites, that's not really like you have to specialize in it unless you're doing like nice, high level websites. With the Go High Level system, you can make really decent looking websites, and then you're not charging like $10,000-$20,000 that you would charge a developer, but it still looks really good, and they're still getting all of the functions out of a website. It doesn't have like all the exact bells and whistles that you could get if you spent $10,000 developing a website. But the key here is that a lot of these niches that I mentioned, they're also not always concerned with having the bells and whistles. That's not what their mind is. Their mind is just getting something that functions well and that looks good. So that's Go High Level offers that. There's a lot of even really good templates. You don't even have to build one. There's a lot of good ones. And maybe in other videos, I'll show you some of my favorites and how I edit the templates and then send those out. But anyway, so picking those two things I think is important, and that'll just make your job just a little bit easier. So now I'm going to show you how I go about actually finding the businesses that I reach out to. The first thing that I do is I will go into Google, and I just do a simple Google search and type in the niche that I've picked along with the location. So this just helps Google show you kind of a more specific area. And this is helpful because you can actually go city by city and find leads this way. A great website that I like to use is the Demographics, I think is what it's called. Let me check real quick. So yeah, it's this company, and I don't know who owns this or who runs it, but it's, there you go, by Qubit. But Missouri Demographics. So I live in Missouri, so for example, I'm just using Missouri, but you can do any state. And literally, I just usually Google cities in Missouri by population. And when I click that, this is always the first result that pops up. And then you'll get this whole list, and it'll tell you by population, the cities. And so I'll just go down this list, starting with the bigger ones, and I just keep going down. That's how I find the cities, and that way I'm not missing things as I'm going through. And then that way I'm able to, if I do the whole state, I'm like, I literally contacted the state of Missouri, to find people who need websites or whatever. So what I would do then from there is copy and paste those city names. So for example, I would type in, I'm going to go to Google, and I type in roofers in, let's say, Springfield, Missouri. That's one of the top ones. So I'll enter, and then I'll go into the more businesses, so that way I'm not just seeing the sponsors or just the ones that are ranking for the top, because usually people that don't have websites are not going to rank at the top of Google businesses. So, and that's another selling point you can, kind of talk to people through if you're in that sales process. But anyways, so then I just go here, and I'm just scrolling down until I can find a business. So right here, this business doesn't have any website. They have, other buttons here you can call, get a quote, you can get directions, but they don't have a website. So then what I do is I'll just copy and paste their name, and I go over to Facebook, because this helps me verify what the business is and if they actually have a website. Because something I found is that even if on Google it says they don't have a website, because a lot of people just preach use Google, and just see the people that don't have websites. But you'll notice, if you do that method, you'll notice that people actually do have websites. They're just not linked to their Google business profile. And so for that reason, they won't show up on Google. But then if you look them up on Facebook, because a lot more people use Facebook, and people don't really just know how to use the whole Google system, which is sad, because it really would help them be more apparent online. But I always cross-check it with Facebook to make sure they actually don't have a website. So for this example, 9 Points Weatherproofing, we looked them up, and we can see that they do have a business linked. But as I click on this link, it's giving me an error that this website is not found. So there might be something wrong with the domain possibly. And you can see in their banner right here, they do have 9pointsweathering.com. So it's not like a typo. They didn't mean to type .com. This is actually their website. It's just not working right now. My assumption is because this business may not be operating anymore. And that leads me to my second point of things to look for when you're looking at businesses to potentially reach out to, is how active they are. So people that are not going to be super active on social media, those people, first of all, are going to be maybe a little bit harder to sell a website to, because they don't understand the importance of an online atmosphere, or an online presence. But that's not necessarily always the reason. Sometimes people just don't have the time, which is, why a lot of people have agencies that just run people's social media, which is a great business. But if we look here, the last thing they posted was on September 29th of 2020. So that's, 4 years ago, the last time they were active on this thing. And then I'll always go to reviews to see if they got recent ones. In March 6th of 2020 was the last time somebody wrote them a review on Facebook. So those two key factors show me that this business is not something to reach out to. You might get a response, but it probably will be to the effect of, hey, we're no longer in business. Or you won't get a response, something like that. If they are in business, then this would be something that you might be able to capitalize on. But for me, just simply doing the outreach with the websites, to me, it just isn't worth my time. So I'm not going to reach out to this person. I do want to show you though, one that would be a good example. So I did the same thing, looked up roofers. Here's one I found on Facebook, and you can see right here, they're active on social media. They post videos and pictures and stuff. December 27th of last year. So that was less than a month ago. They're posting something. And you can see right here, they have no website. And this person would be great because it looks like they're kind of starting their business up. If they don't have many followers, they have just a Hotmail account. So they're not like in their professional realm yet. So those people I would reach out to. I would also reach out to, here's another example. Same kind of situation. You can see they posted literally a couple days ago. Last week they posted, and they don't have a website. Another key thing to look for is in their advertising or their little things that they post, their graphics, they don't have any website. They're not pointing anyone to that. So that would be something to jump on. Another way you can find businesses, which can make this process faster, is when you type them into Facebook, and Facebook has this section right here where the pages are, and they're trying to show you more pages that would be similar to the thing you just searched. You can click see all, and you'll see an entire list of roofers pop up. And so you can go through this list, hover over them to save you time, and look, this one doesn't have a website, which I think I showed you this one. This one doesn't. This one doesn't. So then open that in a new tab, and look right there. This would be one I might reach out to. They posted last 2 years ago. So, again, you got to do a little more research, look at the reviews. But the reason I do this work ahead of time, and it does take a little bit of time. It's not a lot, but it does take a little more time than just looking at Google and just blasting, messages to people. The reason I do this is because that's why I think my rates are so high of open rates and response rates. That's what I'm assuming. Like I said, I'm not a professional at this. I'm just showing you guys what I do. But anyways, so then from that point, I write them a simple message of, hey, notice you don't have a website. Just wanted to send over this mock-up I made of your homepage, what it could look like. If you like it, let me know, and we can talk about details, that kind of thing. Just a simple message like that. And, maybe my method's not great, but that's just what I do. So obviously there's a lot more details of, how I actually create the scripts of my cold DMs, how I, build my mock-up website page so the first picture they see to see if it's actually worth their time. Different things I've learned. So I'll be posting more videos on how I've been doing this. This is just kind of an overview of how I actually find the people to send my DMs to. But I hope this is helpful, because I know that at least for me, I didn't find a lot of helpful information on DMs, and maybe this wasn't helpful. I have no idea. You guys just have to let me know. Or if there's other things that you needed clarity on, just let me know, and I'll try to respond to them. But anyways, yeah, this is what I've been doing. I don't claim to be making all this money or doing anything or not selling a course. I just wanted to show you guys what I've been learning and what I'll continue to learn, and I'll just try to post as I learn and as I go. So anyways, but like I said, there's more videos I want to post in the future. So anyways, that's it for today.